Everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today. We are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. But if you would like to get on the list for a reading today, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind, there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in a private reading, and you can book a private reading on my site. We're also doing 2 giveaways today. The first giveaway we will be doing today is we will be doing a reading giveaway at 50K. So make sure that you're tapping that screen. We're also going to be doing a reading giveaway between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read for whoever gives the highest gift between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck in winning that as well. But first and foremost, tell me, how are you doing during this eclipse season? I just got to tell you, we tried to give a little, like, pardon me, let me just clear my throat. Hi there, Esteban. How are you doing today? Welcome, Grand Rising Addison. So let's talk a little bit about what we've been seeing in the cards. One of the things that we tried to discuss last month was the fact that this month was going to feel very rocky. Okay. There's a lot of volatility energetically, right? It's the best way I can describe it. And a good way of kind of looking at the energy that we're experiencing right now is thinking very much about last month, which feels like, I'm sure feels like a million years ago. But you will recall that that full moon in Leo was extremely intense, right? A lot of work potentially in the space of the heart, right? Working through a lot of that space of authenticity, working through a lot of that space of navigating the energetic burden that one is carrying. This month is very much like that right now, but amplified. And one of the things that we have to be very conscientious about this month has to do in the space of anxiety. Okay. And one of the reasons, especially if you are someone who carries a lot of anxiety or carries excitement as anxiety, the reason that this could be feeling more difficult than typically is because I like to describe it right now as the fact that we've got almost like 2 discordant notes that are occurring, right? We're currently going through a Venus in retrograde, right? And we've talked a lot about the fact that it is very common during Venus in retrograde cycles to have a distorted view as it relates to seeing beauty, finding beauty around the self, right? I like to describe the Venus and retrograde cycles very much like a broken mirror effect to a certain extent. This is often why you have others that kind of warn against getting beauty things done during the retrograde. It's not because everyone forgets how to do anything. It's because, our perception of what looks appealing starts to get distorted. Now, at the same time that we've got a lot of that energy that's making things feel like they look worse than they are, we're coming out of a Virgo full moon. And the Virgo energy is absolutely beautiful, but it is and those who have a lot of Virgo placements know this. Virgos often have to work a lot in the space of navigating perfection, being able to work towards perfect, but recognizing and having to go through the cycles of understanding that perfect is not a location. perfect is a cardinal direction. And often, if we try to reach for perfection too much, we can sometimes create our own blockages, right? So I want you to imagine these like two notes being played in concordance. I want you to imagine a situation or scenario where we've got a lot of that vibration of the Venus in retrograde that keeps saying everything is ugly, everything is ugly. And then we've got that high pitched note of Virgo that says everything must be perfect. Everything must be perfect. So if you feel like you're being like stretched between those 2 points right now, I want you to recognize that's because it feels very they don't work in harmony to one another. They feel like they pull oppositional to each other. Now to add to that, we have the included just for a little icing on the cake. We've got a lot of this Mercury retrograde that is occurring. And the thing about this Mercury retrograde cycle that is very unique has to do in the proximity right now to where we find Mercury and Venus, right? They're very closely linked and they're both in retrograde. And so um, this can also have, I feel like a lot of the work that we're experiencing right now, particularly with this Mercury retrograde, can it feels a lot like the externalized space of working through or feeling like there's always there's always those faults, right? There's always those moments that we feel like we're kind of like pushing through, and I think that what's difficult about that is I feel like a lot of that work that we're seeing that is occurring right now between with the proximity of Mercury and Venus together is not it almost creates a propelling point in terms of the anxiety in relationality to how one is perceived or how one communicates or fearing or overly fearing miscommunications, right? So to add to all of that, we also have we're now in eclipse season. So everything feels amplified. Everything feels much more intense. So I want you to kind of think about that to a certain extent because working through this right now, it I want to describe this as the way to best kind of navigate an energy like we're experiencing is by creating a lot of compassion, working in that space of compassion, um, really focusing on like, and I know right now it may be hard because, and here's the thing, we've got so many planets pushing into Aries. It feels like it's hard to find that space of compassion, right? It's hard not to feel a lot of that feeling of provocation. It's hard right now not to work through those cycles that want to create that feeling of impatience, because unfortunately the thing with Aries energy is there isn't a lot of patience for things. So I want you to just think about that, because if you're feeling anxious right now, if you're feeling short-tempered, okay, if you're feeling like the smallest thing that would typically just like roll over you like silk is just rubbing under like your skin, um, I want you to understand that that is kind of the energy that we're experiencing right now. And the other thing that's kind of amplifying a lot of this right now is due to the fact that we had so many of the planets that were sitting in Pisces prior to this point. We had like an overabundance of energy of planets in Pisces up until this point of the year. Now just all shoving straight into Aries. It's like it feels very dry. It feels very like almost like a shock to the system. So I also want you to be hydrating a lot right now, because I want you to be kind of navigating this with a sense of compassion, empathy, because like everything we're seeing right now, um, you know, these are cycles. and we're gonna and we were like working through the fact that this particular month was going to feel there, everyone was going to be very much on edge. And I want to tell you right now, it can allow for a lot of breakthroughs, right? It isn't the fact that there isn't something that you can do that is positive with an energetic frequency of this nature, but it requires a lot of dexterity, particularly in the space of having compassion for the self and having compassion for everyone around you. Remembering everyone is doing the best that they can. We're all feeling this energy in different ways. It's getting it's a type of energy that can kind of get under your skin to a certain extent, but that's why we have to kind of like I want to say like really the message right now is lead forth with love, right? I know that's difficult. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where you find yourself on the frequency cycles. Now, the one thing I'm seeing that is very profound is for a lot of the energy in separation right now, I keep on seeing that there's a lot of shifting that's occurring for the energy in separation. Potentially with that transition of all the planets out of Pisces into Aries. And one of the things that we recognize and we see has to do in the space of, and we were talking a lot about this prior to the eclipse cycle starting. Um, you know, the fact or the amplification that patience is abundant. It is ever flowing so long as there is progress. So I'm even seeing that for a lot of the energy right now that is in separation, there's either two different modalities that may be occurring, either energy from the past that is returning or new energetic cycles that are opening at this time. And the one overarching lesson that we're effectively seeing that's occurring during these cycles right now is observation of progress. Now, you know, if it may feel like now right now like you're having different conversations with someone, that could have a like you're sitting there in the midst of a conversation saying like are we talking about the same thing, are we looking at something from the same perspective. This has a lot to do with, I told you, the fact that we've got a Mercury retrograde right now and we've got the planets that are effectively straddling between Pisces and Aries, right? Because what we're effectively identifying in those moments right now is, and I mean, this is what could be potentially causing like a little bit of contention right now in conversations. Pisces very much likes to dwell in the space of understanding the nature and form of emotions, right? Piscean energy is all about understanding the nuances, delving deeply into an emotion. Aries energy, much like Virgo energy, isn't as primarily focused on understanding the nature of an emotion. More so, it is very much in the space of understanding how the emotion drives something forward, right? It's very much like chariot energy. The perception of the lessons that Aries and Virgo often carry have to do in the space of the sensation of saying feelings have nothing to do with it. And why do Aries and Virgo say that? It's not that Aries and Virgo don't have feelings, but they come into alignment in the space that Aries channels their emotions through activation, right? It's kickstart energy. It's like Aries likes to channel emotions into places that feel like they're energetically productive. Virgo is very analytical in relationality to emotions, right? Virgo works into the space of identifying what emotions feel precious or sacred. So we see even now, like a lot of that dryness, or a lot of that analytical nature that may be occurring right now in the space of emotions, may be feeling like it's oppositional to a lot of that deeper space of exploration that we often see that is characteristic with the Piscean energy. So, I'm seeing potentially a lot of these potential disparities in relationality to conversations wherein one person wants to speak towards the nature of their feelings, whereas another individual may be looking more to understand what the breakthrough point is or where something is going, right? At the same time, That same expansion point I see is propelling a lot of the new energetic connections that are happening. And this is something that I think is really positive that may be occurring for some of the partnerships that are forming during this particular eclipse cycle. Because what we're effectively seeing is those moments or modalities wherein the gift that the partners are giving each other are directions, right? That amplification of articulating what it is that they aspire and desire to achieve, and being able to kind of recognize and identify where something is going, giving each other the clarity of a clear manifestation goal and being able to move towards it with a lot of effect. We see even now that for a lot of the energy in that space, this is why I keep on calling the partnerships that are forming during this time powerhouse energy, because it's just that amplification. It's just that ability to drive forward. Now, for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, I keep on seeing that this may be feeling more like a vulnerable space. And I need to also point out that one thing that's really important to note for some of the energy and separation is for the energy and separation, I'm recognizing that some of the energy and separation is going through one of those modalities. Some of the energy and separation is going through that second modality. And then some of the energy and separation, and this is the hardest area, is going through both at once. They're just experiencing all of that at the same time, which is why there may be a lot of intensity during this time. While for masculine and feminine energy that are coming into divine union, a lot of this work that we're seeing that is happening right now for the energy coming into divine union is articulated upon the recognition of the wound behind the wound. Because everything I keep on seeing for a lot of the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now is the observation of what has changed, right? The ability to recognize how far one has come, and the ability to understand that in a healthy partnership, often you see things about one's own past that you could not see before. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of this space that I'm seeing that's opening up for the energy deep within divine union in relationality to honoring the journey, recognizing how far one has come, recognizing how far one still needs to proceed, right? And that ability of doing so, being able to almost articulate and hold on to the sacredness of that journey, being able to appreciate um, the ability to begin to heal something that you didn't even realize that you needed to heal from. This is why I see that there's a lot of that sacredness that we also navigate through Virgo lessons that is occurring in that space as well, because it's profound, it's revelatory, right? It's sacred stuff, but it also creates a lot of vulnerability, because the ability to see something that you couldn't see before, it sometimes feels somewhat overwhelming. Now, for a lot of the energy coming like deep within divine union right now, this is just feeling very, I want to say, it's rough energy right now for energy deep within divine union. And the reason that we're seeing that is there is working through what feels like intensity, having a lot of that work and working through frustration right now. The one thing I'm seeing that is beautiful is there's a lot of ability right now to be able to articulate in ways that one hasn't before. We saw that this was like a bit of the breakthrough that a lot of the energy deep within divine union was working to as they were trying to heal wounds of intimacy, right? Being able to articulate upon something, being able to find the words, being able to find the plan, working through that space. I want to say it's requiring a lot of that refinement. It's requiring a lot of that fine tuning. And I got to say, like, a little bit about this, like, energetic intensity that we're currently experiencing right now. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we're seeing right now that Neptune is moving out of Pisces into Aries. Um, the thing about it, and this is what we kind of foresaw that was happening in last month's kind of dress rehearsal for this month, is working through this space, it feels like there's a lot of that light that's turned towards the self, right? We're over worrying about things, being overly focused upon the self. But that's why when we lead forth with a sense of compassion, with a sense of care, we can almost allow for a bit of this heart opening to be one that brings forward. I keep on seeing like there's a lot of that, I want to say, transformational energy. It's feeling very scorpionic because it is the observation of how much one has changed. And and here's the thing about transformation processes that we often talk about. A transformation process, we sometimes feel very ugly in the process of doing so, right? I want you to think about any of those moments in life that we go through a transformation. It's often that feeling that everything is falling apart in the midst of understanding and recognizing like who we are within that, right? So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this work that's happening right now that it feels like an expansion point, but it's the type of expansion point that requires like I keep on, and this is why that Leo full moon was very helpful. Like it's not that patience is no longer hard to find, it's compassion, right? It's losing that sense of compassion, but having to be able to work through that to find, like, it's almost like creating that space of again generating love, generating understanding, generating empathy, because like that's the only difficulty that we're experiencing right now with all of these planets with all of these planets in Aries all at once. It feels claustrophobic. It feels frustrating. It feels like that amplification point. But that's why, if we're able to navigate that and we lead forth with love, we lead forth with empathy, kind of carrying some of the lessons of Pisces into Aries, like into the house of Aries, we're able to effectively identify and recognize um, kind of what feels like it can heal even in the midst of experiencing or feeling re-triggered. Because I'll tell you right now, the thing about this energy that we have to be very wary of is it's triggering, right? It allows for a lot of that feeling of being triggered or working through that space. So more than anything, I want to say right now, don't allow yourself to be triggered. If you're feeling triggered, I want you to take a step back, move with intentionality, don't forget. And I will also say, make sure that I keep on getting this like message, make sure that you're hydrating a lot right now, because the thing about this, like all of these planets in Aries, is it's very arid, it's very dry. So it's like not only do we need to bring that empathy of emotion potentially into the context of what we're experiencing right now, but also just into our own bodies, period. That is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's daily collective read. Now, if you would like to catch that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it over on a podcast, over on Spot at Tarot Church, or over on my Substack. We are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list for a personal reading, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers, being semi-lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in a private reading, and you can book a private reading on my site. We are doing 2 different contests today. The first one will be I will be gifting a reading back to the collective when we hit 50K likes. So I encourage you to make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll also be doing a giveaway for whoever gives the highest gift between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck in winning that as well. I am going to take a few minutes to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Welcome to everybody joining us today. Hi there, Diva. How are you doing today? Good Grand Rising, Addison and Estevan. Hi there, Joanna. Been better. I hope that these messages help you today. Grand Rising, Shea. I'm finding it hard to wake up and get started. Well, and that's the thing about it too. The thing about it, Esteban, is especially, here's the thing, Aries are light sleepers. And so I would not be surprised right now if you're either finding that it's hard to stay asleep, or if you're having or like you're just working through a lot of that like difficulty in being in waking up because you're not potentially sleeping as deep as you would typically would. I would also not be surprised if there isn't a lot of like conflict right now in the space of dreams, given some of this because there's just too many, planets in one house right now, right? And so there it does, like, it almost, keep on describing it, it feels like a little bit of that like energetic or spiritual claustrophobia, which is why like we have to like really work in the space of building into empathy right now. No, you haven't missed the collective, Danny. We're about to get started. Scrolled by and heard anxiety. Going to stick around for a moment. Absolutely acculturation. I hope that this message helps. We have not begun the collective yet, Danny. My body has been violently rejecting everything I eat for days. Definitely Aries vibes. I mean, that's the thing with it, Ryan. Like, it's a lot of it's very like like you said, it's the Aries energy. Doesn't want to eat a lot. Doesn't want to drink a lot. It's Spartan. You know what I mean? It's like very Spartan energy. So if you feel like you're having a little bit of that, like working through that right now, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I've lost about 30 pounds in 5 weeks, unfortunately. Okay, well, and again, make sure if that's occurring, I want to stress this. This is going to be feel especially difficult for those with Pisces placements right now. Because the thing is, and I feel I really I sympathize for a lot of Pisces right now, because this is like, I know that this is kind of like this is the month for Pisces, but the thing is with you have to recognize that we had all of those planets in Pisces for so long, and now that we're in Pisces season, all the planets are shifting out of Aries. So it can unconsciously trigger abandonment wounds in Piscean energy. It can feel very triggering. So I especially am articulating it for those who carry a lot of Pisces placements right now, because it's heavy stuff. Um, I'm not, and sending you support as well, Danny. Heather, as a Virgo, it's a hard balance on myself to not expect perfection from myself. And I know, and here's the thing, Heather, for those with Virgo placements right now, this may also be feeling very difficult, because it's the fact that we've got the amplification of the Virgo energy right now, right? And and you've kind of spoken on it perfectly. Virgos are beautiful because the ability, much like Aquarians, to carry that frame of mind, that ideal in place, right? That's a lot of the work that Virgos often learn in their lessons, is understanding that perfection is a destination, right? It's not a location, it's a cardinal direction. There's always something that can be perfected. So working through that space of not allowing the need to be perfect stand in the way of appreciating and honoring the self right now, it may be feeling very hard, because again, it's that Venus retrograde that's hitting at the same time as the Virgo full moon, that almost feels like it's in discord to that feeling, right? And that's why I keep on saying right now, lead with love. Let that love and compassion, both for the self and those around you, help you through this right now. And thank you guys so much for supporting each other in the comments. All right. Gemini, Cancer, Libra was doing good in separation, but now the karmic dreams have returned. And I'm not surprised to see that there may be a lot of karmic dreams right now, user 420, because and I'm telling you, it's because all those planets in Aries, it's working through a lot of that space of conflict. And also with the fact that Mars is in Cancer, I would not be surprised if anything that feels like it's an unresolved energetic conflict right now is appearing in the space of dreams, right? It's like, it's just, there's too many planets in Aries right now. And I say that with someone that carries a lot of Aries placements. I like to point out the thing with Aries is like Aries recognize that they're a lot, right? And so there's a lot of that space here. And thank you guys for supporting each other in the live. Hi there, local. You have literally just explained the arguments I've been having. And it's hard, right? And again, it's not helping with that Mercury in retrograde, right? It's that moment of like trying to be not making sure that one doesn't feel misunderstood, right? Like not jumping to conclusions right now is incredibly important. Not making assumptions is incredibly important because I'm telling you, like there's a lot of this energy right now. It's like it's feeling it's very triggering, you know? Hi there, acculturation. Can I prior can I Oh, and thank you guys so much for supporting each other in the live. It means so much. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. Just kind of being that space and holding space for each other as we navigate this. Listen, it's just like any other cycle. We are going to move through it. We just need to kind of like hold each other's hands as we do so. Oh my God, I couldn't put it into words, but the energy around me right now. Thank you. Thank you so much, local. Having someone you can talk to or vent to and solve is immensely helpful. Beautifully said. Available. And thank you guys so much. You're so welcome. And thank you guys for supporting each other. Hi there, Hardy. It's too difficult not to be triggered when you become overwhelmed. And that's the truth of it, right? So being able to take that step back, to be able to kind of be in that space of grounding right now is very important, very key. Hi there, Elisa. Good to see you. Welcome, Bridget. Hi there, Ryan. Yes, PTSD certainly falls into the medical category. Sending you support on that journey as well. And thank you, V, for sharing the live. And thank you, Angela, for the follow. Pisces here. Don't want to do anything, including eat or drink. It's been rough. I'm trying to stay positive. I know, listen, Carrie, for those with Pisces placements right now, I mean, this energy is going to feel rough. Make sure that you're hydrating. Make sure that you're prioritizing care of self right now. It'll definitely help. Thank you as well, Lynn. I need to live vicariously through those who can sleep. I hope you're well. Yeah, I know the sleep right now. Again, it's because like, like the thing is like Aries energy like doesn't sleep to dream. Like they sleep to rest. But there's like the fact that Mars is also in Cancer right now, it can feel very like it can feel a lot, right? There's a lot of that amplification. As I mentioned, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. But if you would like to get on the list for today, the list is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing 2 different contests today. The first one we're doing is we'll be doing a giveaway when we get to 50K likes. We are already at 4.1K, so make sure you're tapping that screen. The other giveaway we'll be doing today is we'll be gifting a reading to the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck in that as well. That said, as I mentioned, we are going to get started today. A couple of updates before we begin. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who participated in our recent class on the Wheel of Fortune. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, March 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Justice card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I will be doing my best to give you a recap on everything we have studied in the classes thus far, but the material is there for you to receive when you're ready to receive it. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Archive. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that may have in relation to anything that we are studying. And you will also receive a complimentary mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things towards your personal tarot goals. Now, one of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust amount of experience prevent you from joining our classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to make sure to follow me over there. That's where we post our podcast each day, which will give you a full image of today's spread as well as the podcast. You will also be added to our newsletter, which will let you know about our in-person events as well as our online live schedule. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings as well. These are for, you can purchase those per dream or as a series. If you purchase a dream interpretation reading package, I would simply ask that you make sure to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming through the dream space. That said, I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was giving those recaps. But as I mentioned, if you would like to get on the list for today, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. All right. We also have the first spot available today. The first person we read for today will always have an additional card in their readings as well. All right. Just bear with me one moment. I couldn't put it into words. I'm so glad that these messages are helping right now. Hi there, Dada. I hope you're having a beautiful day as well, dear. Hi there, Hardy. All right. Grand Rising, Elisa and Bridget. Thank you for sharing the live. All right. And thank you, Angela, for the follow. Bridget, that explains a lot. I've always been a light sleeper, but this is a different level. Yeah, the sleep is going to be affected right now with us moving into Aries. Pisces, I like to point out, like, Pisces, it's like hard to wake up. Aries, it's hard to stay down. Like, that's the thing about it. Pisces, it's hard to get up. Aries, it's hard to stay down. Yep. Pisces here. I don't want to do anything, including eat or drink. And again, make sure you're prioritizing rest right now, Carrie. All right. What are ways to ground in this energy? V, I think good ways to ground in this energy right now. First of all, I want you make sure that you're hydrating. I think that you need to hydrate twice as much as you typically would. And the reason I'm saying that right now is because Aries, Aries is very arid energy. So if you're feeling kind of dry right now, it could be the reason. Also, because we had so many planets in Pisces moving into Aries, it's almost like everything was really wet and now everything's getting really dry very quickly. So we talked a lot about having working through the energetic anchor right now, being able to stay focused and anchored, being able to kind of return back to yourself. Um, it's very, I want to say, it's very energetically polarizing right now. So the way we navigate something that feels energetically polarizing, because I got to tell you right now, it's like it's also not being helped with the fact that Gemini's in Jupiter, right? We lead forth with compassion. We lead forth with understanding. Thank you. And again, that compassion starts with the self. I want you focusing on words of affirmation right now. I want you focusing on building into those supportive systems. Thank you for the follow, Maria. And hi there, Rabia. Anything that you can do. And I feel like that was a little bit of the gift that we saw with that Leo full moon. Being able to bring that amplification of love in right now is going to be key. I was just, oh, I hope that that is helping you, acculturation. Absolutely. It's my Pisces. Oh, it's there. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm wishing them a beautiful birthday, Everin. Thank you, and good morning, Lay. I do private readings, Nova. You can book those on my site. Standing outside with your feet on the ground for at least 10 to 15 minutes helps too. Yeah, that can be helpful as well. And also, like, here's the thing with a lot of us, like a lot of the energy in Aries, Aries likes to channel the emotion through activation. So walking is going to help right now, movement, things of that nature. All right. Yes, it is, dear. That's where you can find it. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. As I mentioned, the first spot on the list for today is open. Whoever gets the first spot on the list will always have an additional card in their reading. We are also doing 2 different giveaways today. The first giveaway we are doing is we are doing a reading giveaway at 50K likes. So make sure that you're tapping that screen. We will get to 50K in no time. The other giveaway we're doing right now is we are doing a giveaway where for the highest, this the high, we'll be giving a free reading to whoever gives the highest gift between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I encourage you as well to, I encourage you and wish you a lot of luck in winning that one as well. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. How are you doing today, Lisa? So good to see you. I'm glad to see you here as well. And thank you so much, Mary, for the follow. You're so welcome, Danny. That said, we are going to get started in a moment. I'm going to step away before we begin. But if you would like to get on the list is open. And when I get back, we will get started on today's daily collective read. Just bear with me one moment and we'll get started. All right, let's get to it. Hi there, Lay. Hope you're having a beautiful day, dear. All right. As I mentioned, the list is open. The first person on the list today will always receive an additional card in their reading. That said, no better time than the present. Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 2 cards in our 5-card spread for today? First 2 cards we are starting our day off with today are the Queen of Cups in its upright in combination with our Two of Pentacles in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about this energy that we're experiencing right now, because here's the thing about it. It's very dry. It's very analytical. It's very, I want to say it's very stark. It's very harsh. I want to explain why it may be feeling some of this intensity right now. So I want you to think of, there's a few different things you have to take into understanding. The first one is that we currently are experiencing a Venus retrograde. As I mentioned, what does the Venus in retrograde like quietly say to us, which can sometimes really get to us? This is why we talk about the fact that it's usually not a good idea to get beauty things during Venus in retrograde cycles. It's not that everybody who doesn't know how to do something beautifying doesn't know how to do it. It's because our perception of beauty can get distorted, right? I wanted you to describe it as almost like that space of looking at something like through a broken mirror, right? You ever have that mirror? You're like, I don't like that mirror. Like it's a lot of that type of energy. Now, at the same time, right? At the same exact time that we're experiencing that right now, what are we also experiencing? We've got a lot of that Virgo full moon, right? The Virgo full moon, and this is what we love about Virgo energy. Virgo energy is is beautiful because it deals with ideal forms, right? Virgos have that beautiful ability to be able to understand and have a very clear view of perfection, much like Aquarius energy, I might point out. Now, the difficulty, and those who have Virgo placements will recognize this, is that Virgos often have to work through the lesson of understanding that perfection is not a location, it is a cardinal direction. It is something that we reach for, but that is always somewhat out of our grasp, right? Because working through that space, and that's the thing about it, that feeling that perfection is sometimes its own blockage point, right? So at the same time, I just want you to imagine, I'm going to keep on showing you this to help you understand why you may be feeling this, or why you may be feeling a lot of anxiety, or why you're feeling a lot of like over concentration right now upon the self. I want you to think about the fact that we've got the dual energy, the dueling, like the dueling banjos, if you will. Okay, we've got the dueling banjos right now of the Venus in retrograde that says everything is ugly, and then we've got the Venus full moon energy that says everything must be perfect, and then we've got the amplification point of the amplification point of the eclipse, which is like turn the volume up, right? Like turn the volume up, just make it louder, right? So you got like the energetic distortion, and someone just turning up the distortion, and it's a lot, right? And this is what we do. What do we do when we start to feel that energetic distortion? We allow the love in, right? We lead with the heart space, right? We find the courage to care. We find the space to be able to communicate from a place of authenticity. So I want you to just think about that right now, because I know a lot of this energy, it's rough. Like it's rough stuff. Um, and I kept on describing the fact that I feel like the Leo full moon was a little bit of a dress rehearsal for what we are experiencing, because it is about holding compassion for the weight that one carries, right? And I need to point this out. If you're feeling that sense of operating from a place of feeling the weight of something not being perfect, that's exactly where I want you to start putting the love, right? Because it's in those moments that we allow for that space of not being perfect. It's the moment that we allow for that space of compassion. The compassion for the self is something that immediately extends to all of those around us. So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that space right now. And, um, and I want to say like it's hard. Like it's like, it's actually like saying to me that it's hard to be or to feel compassionate when one is feeling. I keep on describing this, and I'm really glad that we're doing that we're actually focusing on the judgment, like the justice card tomorrow in our classwork, because the thing about this energy is it almost like feels like the calibration point of feeling of over worrying about being judged, right? Over judging the self or over judging others, right? So that's why I'm actually finding that this is a really beautiful time for us to be opening up and studying that card, because it's going to help us kind of understand and identify like what that energetic feeling comes from and how we can calibrate through it. Center card for our 5 card spread to get some clarification on how this is impacting all of the different frequencies. And I need to point this out. We've got here the 10 of Cups in its upright. So I want to say that there's something really important and very valuable right now about, like I said, like what do you do? Like what do you do when you're feeling it, when you're feeling that energetic weight of judgment upon the self? You allow for that space of compassion to come in. You allow for that space of focusing and prioritizing on what one can do to allow for that easement point, what one can do to create that sense of energetic peace around the self. And I need to stress this right now because it's very important. You know, there's a lot of this weight that we're recognizing and identifying in the space of navigating through an ideal, right? Because I'll tell you right now, one of the vibration points that we're experiencing that is so difficult right now is that weight of feeling something that is not energetically ideal, right? But when we go through that, and I keep on seeing that to a certain extent right now, some of this energy might be feeling a little bit like, I want to describe this as like forced shadow work, right? Because it's like all of those doubts, all of those fears come like crawling out of the woodwork sometimes when we're feeling a lot of this energetic intensity. But when we're able to navigate those with a sense of compassion, right? When we're able to navigate those with a sense of empathy, that ability of doing so, it can provide it's its own breakthrough, if you will, right? Because that is the moment about that we're able to recognize and identify what feels like it is integral. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where one finds oneself on the frequency cycles. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is, I want to say, that is in separation. I keep on seeing that there are new partnerships that are occurring right now, right? There is some energetic restoration here, but the thing about it is I keep on seeing that it is the difference. It is all about feeling the certainty about sharing a share, like sharing a mutual direction, recognizing and identifying the force of that, being able to effectively see it. Now, for masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, a lot of this work that we're seeing right now is coming through in the space of focusing on manifestation goals, right? And we've talked a lot about this here, right? That one of the gifts that we give one another is being able to perceive what it is that those plans are. So I keep on hearing like the breakthrough that's happening with some of this eclipse cycle is being able to recognize and identify. I keep on seeing the difference between feeling an abundance of emotions, right? Versus something that has direction, right? Because we can hold a lot of emotions for something, But the clarity that we give to each other in partnership is about where that direction is. It's being able to see what that destination is. Now, a lot of this, and that's why I keep on seeing, and this is why I keep on, like, one of the things that I see that is happening here is if these are situations or scenarios where another individual is not is moving in that space of trying to find perfect before building into the destination that where something is going, that's where I see a lot of separations that are occurring, right? Because it's coming through in the context of understanding that perfection, as we mentioned, is it's never, it doesn't exist to a certain extent. It's a cardinal direction. And so, if these are situations or circumstances where progress was not being made or path was not being shown because something was not perfect, I see a lot of the closing out of those cycles in that space, specifically because that is the definition of recognizing effectively that that space, like perfection, is never achievable, right? It's always somewhat out of reach. Whereas at the same time, I see a lot of new partnerships that are evolving or expanding at this time, specifically and particularly in the realm of understanding, of again, letting go of expectation for one another and building in the context of mutual expansion, right? So that's what's interesting about this. I keep on seeing new partnerships that are coming together and the closing out of cycles that are built upon and based upon shared path work, shared mutual outcomes, being able to define and articulate upon those points. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, and that's why I see that this may be feeling like very like intense because I'm seeing either two different modalities in separation right now. And in some cases, I'm seeing some energy that's going through both of those circumstances all at once, right? And so a lot of that force or a lot of that weight that we see that is occurring here, it's it's like I keep on hearing it's like the sigh of letting something go or the intake of breath and feeling the expansion as to what it is that you're moving towards. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, a lot of this work that we're effectively seeing during this time, I keep on seeing that this is the recognition point of, I keep on seeing the wound behind the wound, if you will, being able to see something to a certain extent that one hasn't seen before. And whenever we have those moments, it can feel very, and here's the thing about it, like I see that there's like a lot of energy coming into divine union right now that is working through um, some feelings of, I keep on seeing this, like it feels like a lot of that purging energy because it's working through seeing something that one couldn't see before. And sometimes in those moments, we feel a lot of the weight of what it is that we're carrying, right? I see that a lot of the energy coming towards one another in this space as we see the energy coming into divine union. It's like that expansion point that speaks towards um, trying to articulate and find the words to communicate what one is discovering about oneself, right? So that's why I keep on, and this is why I'm just even describing here what I'm seeing basically for masculine and feminine energy right now. Masculine, it's feeling more like a space of openness. Masculine is feeling like they're more in a space of energetic expansion. Feminine, it's feeling much more like they're coming into a space of honoring the self and honoring the journey. Now, for the energy deep within divine union, everything I keep on seeing here, as we've discussed, has to do with a heart expanding moment, right? And the thing with a lot of that heart expansion that we're identifying and recognizing at this time has to do specifically and particularly with the fact that I keep on seeing it's bringing out different qualities and characteristics um, for masculine and feminine. For masculine, I'm seeing that this is a lot of that desire to open up, a lot of that desire to share the journey, right? A lot of that desire to be able to communicate upon what one feels. And so this is why I keep on seeing that this is bringing out a lot more of that. I keep on describing this as gregarious energy, right? The masculine that's coming forward in such a way as being able to want to communicate and express and share their journey right now. For feminine, a lot of that heart expansion, it feels much more like a going inwards, right? If this is the feminine that felt like they had to kind of be in that space of giving and giving and giving of themselves, this is the feminine that's coming more into a space of selectivity, right? This is a lot of the feminine energy that is healing from those experiences and trauma of the past, where it felt like the feminine was in that space of just having to give more and more and more of themselves. So even here, there's a lot of that difficulty point, because I see that this is a lot of the masculine working to expand further, right? Working to come into that context of opening up more, and feminine's doing the same exact work, but working to refine and articulate what it is that they feel. Continuing to get clarification on these points right now between our fourth and fifth cards in our 5 card spread. We have here our 3 of Swords in its reversal, in combination with our 4 of Wands in its upright. Now, they, like, as I'm talking about that heart expansion, this is what we're seeing a lot right now with a lot of this, like, 3 of Swords. It's not easy, right? It's like that ability right now, like that work. Whenever we're working on the heart chakra, it's whenever we're working on the heart chakra, it can feel very painful, right? Because and I keep on seeing this. It's like that ability to work through and feel the I need to describe this, and we talk a lot about this. um, when we love, we fear, right? And here's the thing that's important to recognize about that, and this is why it's really vital that we do shadow work, right? We talk a lot about this. um, Trauma is often not created in spaces where there is not love. Like, this is what we have to identify here. Often trauma is created in spaces where there is too much love, but another has not done their shadow work effectively, right? We talk a lot about this here, because what happens in those moments that we care a lot about, like, for someone, but we carry too much fear. Then in those moments, what we try to give forth to another, it changes. Our love doesn't feel like love, right? This is how trauma occurs. So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this work that is being navigated right now in relationality to working through that energetic hurdle, if you will, right? We heal from the fear within ourselves, right? We face the fears within ourselves to be able, so that our love feels like love, right? Because when we do not heal from the fear, then often when we try to love, our love feels like fear, right? Love requires us to be energetically courageous. Love requires us to be able to face our fear, right? Because in that space, and this is why we talk about the fact that, like, that determination point is what moves love out of the space of being selfish, right? The love that feels good because it indulges the emotion of feeling good, as opposed to recognizing and identifying the gift that we give to another, right? Like, how that energetically expands, what that feels like, how we communicate through it. So there's a lot of, I keep on seeing there's a lot of this work that is being, like, worked in this space. And it's funny too, because I'm almost hearing, like, a lot of the work that's occurring during these moments is the fabric of love that is effectively being restored to a certain extent. And the fabric of love is restored in those moments that we are conscientious that the love that we give to others doesn't feel like fear, but that we encounter or work through the space of our own fears so that we can confidently love another in a way that feels like love. Now, this is effectively happening across all of the frequencies right now, and that's why we're seeing that it's having a different impact. Um, for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, I keep on hearing like there's a lot of this work as it relates to trying to communicate in such a way of setting the I keep on hearing like setting the energetic standard, like pushing oneself in ways that one hasn't before, right? There's a lot. I told you it feels very scorpionic, to be honest, and I need to understand why. I'm still not sure why. I'm still not sure why the energy deep within divine union right now is feeling so scorpionic. But the reason that it feels scorpionic is because there's a lot of that space of transformation here, right? There's a lot of that desire to um like find the ability to find the version, like the to find to I keep on seeing like find that highest version of self, working in that context, right? Working in that space of being our best. And that's where I feel like a lot of that scorpionic energy is coming through to a certain extent, because it's a lot of that space of feeling the desire to do so, not just for the self, but for those around the self, right? Like that's the gift that we often have when it talks towards love. It's like we are brave not for ourselves, but for those that we care about, right? So that's why I see that there's a lot of that Scorpio energy there. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, this energy is discovering. That's why I keep on seeing that this is the energy that feels like they're discovering the wound behind the wound right now. Because if this is energy that has changed, often it's in those moments that we change that we can see something about the self that we couldn't see before. And it's not uncommon to carry pain of the past self, right? It's in those moments that we honor how far we've come, but we also look towards those moments as a space of being able to recognize and honor that sometimes, I keep on hearing, sometimes we heal from things after the fact because we've become the person that can finally see what it is that we needed to heal from. I know that that sounds a little, I know that sounds a little, I hope that it sounds a little like it sounds a little, and that's because this is because Neptune is moving into like that, because Neptune's moving out of Pisces and into Aries, right? It's the ability of saying, like, it's like sometimes when you, I keep on seeing, like, when, I'll put it this way, this is the best way to describe it. When you're in the water, you're moving with the water, right? When you step out of the water, you can see the way the water moves. And so like I see that that's why a lot of this energy moving into Aries is moving away from something that they may have been too emotional about at the time. And as a result, they're able to heal because they're starting to get a better perspective on something, right? While for energy that is in separation, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of this energy and separation, this is where I see like the most shifting that's happening right now. And it's intense because I see at least three different modalities here that are occurring for energy and separation. And the direction, and honestly, the direction that I see the energy and separation and moving towards is the energy that feels like they share a mutual direction. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Cups in its upright in combination with our Two of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify, especially with this Page of Swords in its upright? There's something very important to recognize and identify. And this is all of those planets that are moving into Aries effectively, right? Because it's working in that space of and I want to say this right now. There's a little like the thing with Aries energy that we have to identify is that Aries does not have a lot of patience. Okay. Aries does not have a lot of patience on things. It's very Like the patience is very, like, Aries don't come here with patience. So that ability of doing so, that ability of working through something to a certain extent, that ability of, like, I just keep on seeing, like, there's a little bit of this, like, snappiness right now. I mean, it's not a little bit of snappiness, it's a lot of snappiness. Why did I say a little? It's a lot. Because if it feels like everyone is snappy right now, it's because there's too much energy in Aries. We got Mars sitting in Cancer right now, right? And then we've got almost all the planets like just hanging out in Aries. And we've got planets, the only planets lingering outside of Aries are moving into it right now. So it's like everybody's feeling triggered. Everybody's feeling at their wits' end. Okay. Everybody's just feeling like FAFO. But that's why I keep on seeing that it's really important right now to lead with a space of compassion, to lead with a sense of not feeling protective or defensive, right? Because I keep on saying, like, fear makes us cower, right? Fear makes us feel hurt. Fear makes us want to have that "woe is me" mentality, or the effective space of projecting out. But when we come into that space of balance, and I keep on seeing this, it's the overcorrection of not getting, again, this is why this work is so difficult. Like, this is a type of energy that wants you to be hard on yourself, right? It wants you to, like, it's like the energy or the vibe is like one that makes you like feel bad about being yourself, or simultaneously it's the energy that wants to push towards others and feel snappy towards them. When we're in a space of recognizing ourselves, we typically don't over blame ourselves or try to blame others. We just look at what can be achievable, right? And done in the circumstances, right? It's a lot of that space of, and I keep on seeing that this is like why it's heart opening, because it's moving in that space of authenticity that we often find the courage and confidence to give voice or to articulate upon what we feel in our heart space. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energies that are coming together right now during this time, it feels very much like chariot energy, right? Because these are the energies, and this is really important. um, these are the energies that we're identifying and recognizing. And we've talked a lot about this here. We are not responsible for anything that we feel about one another, right? Except for the quality of confusion. Because confusion is always something that we can clarify for each other. So the thing I keep on seeing is there's a lot of this work or a lot of this space that is happening right now that is allowing for clarifying conversations, right? To see what feels like it has direction versus what feels like it creates confusion, right? There's a lot of that. I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that. The advantage point of the Aries and Virgo is a lot of that focus upon what actually feels like it is progressing forward versus anything that just feels like it is existing in a confusing state. Um, Now, for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, I just keep on seeing that there's something very vital and important about, and this is what's difficult about a healing journey. It's often in those moments that we arrive and find ourselves, that we suddenly recognize that we have a lot more to heal from, right? It's like those moments that we look back and we suddenly identify how much more work we have to do. So there's a lot of this energy here I keep on seeing that is feeling like a lot of the energy that is coming into divine union right now is feeling the mutual weight of having a breakthrough and also understanding the assignment, right? It's like a lot of that, it's a lot of that force, if you will, that is requiring a lot of that space of being able to appreciate how far one has come, but also articulate upon how far one is going. Now, for masculine and feminine, that is deep within divine union right now. I keep on seeing that there's something very valuable and important in recognizing and identifying, um like what that space of, like, I keep on seeing, like, finding energetic confidence, being able to articulate upon it. There's a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, that is working in the context of the self. And at the same time, like, I feel like a lot of this is not being too hard on the self in the process, like letting that compassion, or finding ways to lead forth with compassion in the midst of a lot of energy that makes it feel very difficult not to be too hard on the self, or to be too hard on those around the self. Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Pentacles in combination with our Ten of Cups in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? There's that Devil card again. Now, you'll recall we had that same card that was popping up yesterday, but I want you to see the fact that it's kind of moved through the frequency right now. Now, let's talk a little bit about this energy. You know, and I want to tell you right now, that's what's difficult, because the Venus retrograde, okay, the Venus retrograde in combination with the Virgo retrograde, it requires us to be in a space of being able to articulate upon our fear, right? Like a lot of that, and I keep on seeing, like, especially in that space, we like I want to tell you, it's the matching, it's a matching like energy of feeling the Venus retrograde that says everything looks worse than it is, okay, and then the energy that says everything must be perfect, okay. That is the space that, if we don't bring compassion in, it can create a lot of feelings of anxiety, it can create a lot of feelings of fear. But when we're able to move through that with a sense of compassion, right? When we're able to lead forth with love, it allows for a lot of those breakthrough points, because even in the space of feeling a lot of that harshness, right? We find our energetic center, right? We find the voice of love within us. So I keep on seeing that, like, this is a lot of that work as it relates to navigating anxiety, right? And what is the poultice that we put on anxiety? We put love there, right? We put reassurance, we put clarity. um Now, for a lot of the energy in separation right now, I keep on seeing there may be a lot of healing. Like, I keep on seeing the difference that is occurring right now in the space of, and I keep on identifying the difference between, um, what one is in the process of healing versus what one is healing from, right? Because a lot of that, I keep on seeing that, like, a lot of that work, a lot of that work on surrender, is the observation as to something that just feels like it's energetically painful, right? Versus identifying what feels like it's progress. And often in those spaces, and we talk a lot about this here, when someone has a lot of emotions for us, but they aren't able to give us clarity, that's often when the emotions start to feel like they're painful, because we feel like the emotions lack purpose, right? It feels like it creates that space in us wherein, it feels like it just holds us in place instead of giving us wings. So there's so much that we're seeing here that is difficult, and especially for the energy and separation, because I keep on seeing that amplification point of identifying something and feeling the frustration in not being able to see what those directions are, or simultaneously someone feeling the weight or feeling the easement of receiving that clarity of direction from another, and suddenly recognizing what the difficulty or hurdle was that they could not see in a past context. So I keep on hearing that there's a lot of this energy right now in separation that is going through a lot of those bittersweet transformation processes. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, a lot of this work that I'm identifying right now, um, coming into divine union, I keep on seeing that there's something really important, um, as it relates to recognizing what one is healing from in the past, right? And it's sometimes in those moments, and we talked a lot about this, carrying carrying the frustration, carrying the frustration of the self. Everything I keep on identifying here is showing me that for the energy that's coming into divine union, working through those processes, feeling that frustration with the self, but allowing the ability to articulate through it, allowing the ability to give voice to it. Um, this is what's helping the energy to heal, because I keep on seeing that this is the breakthrough that a lot of the energy coming into divine union is having as it relates to communicating through something that one is feeling as opposed to reacting to it, right? There's a lot of that energetic fortitude that we're seeing here. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is deep within divine union, everything that I keep on seeing deep within divine union right now is, I keep on, like, this is the transformation process, right? It's not easy. It's frustrating. I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this work that is occurring right now in deep within divine union that is articulating upon like what is bothering the self. And I feel like the breakthrough that's happening right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union is being able to find the words, being able to articulate upon a frustration, right? Finding, I keep on hearing like finding the language, if you will, to be able to communicate upon something. And I keep on seeing like this is allowing for that space of like working through something that is not ideal, but working in the space of not getting like bound up in the fact that it's not ideal, but finding that energetic breakthrough point, continuing to get clarification between our 10 of cups in combination with our 3 of swords in its reversal. Can I please get one card to clarify? We've got here a lot of that 4 of Pentacles in its reversal. And there's a lot of heavy 4 energy here today. So let's talk a little bit about the 4 energy. Because the thing with the 4 energy is, you know, and I gotta tell you, it's working through some of this expansion point that we're experiencing between this eclipse cycle. Because this is, sometimes we have the eclipse cycles and they feel, I keep on saying, sometimes we have the eclipse cycles and they feel like, I want to describe this as they can feel effervescent, right? They can feel like bubbly, right? They can feel very like profound. The thing about this one is it has to do with the fact that we're experiencing the eclipse at the same time as we're having 2 heavy planetary retrogrades. We're having the retrograde of Venus and we're having the retrograde of Mercury, right? And so what are those 2 planets in retrograde say? Everything is going wrong. It's like everything is going wrong. It's a lot of that space of like working through some of that wrongness, if you will, right? It's like, oh, it's like it gets so frustrating. But when we're working in that space of identifying what's wrong, right? When we don't focus on what's wrong, but instead focus on what's right, right? This is how we become solutions focused, right? Not problem oriented. So there's a lot of this space right now, and it's very hard because the thing is, the energy itself wants to create like a space of making one feel very focused on the problems, right? So what do we do when we feel a lot of that focus in relationality to the problems? We work through the space of identifying the solution, right? And that's where I keep on seeing, like, that's where the force of love comes in, because it's allowing for that space of being solutions focused. It's allowing for that space of solving problems. It allows for that space of working in the context of identifying what needs to change or how we can expand, that allows for that possibility of breakthrough. But the energy, but going through it right now, it's hard because it feels like the amplification point. It's like all you can look at as what it's like, all you can look at are the cracks, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Swords in combination with our Four of Wands in its upright. Can I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Seven of Cups in its reversal. It's very hard. Just listen to me, right? It's very hard right now not to be like, not to work in the space of feeling energetically distracted. I keep on saying, not getting distracted at the cracks, right? Not getting focused upon everything that's going wrong. It's like working in that context is trying to apply that space. And we talk about this too, right? Um, Flaws, like, consider the concept of a flaw. The concept of a flaw exists in the concept of an ideal, right? And when we're working, and this is what's difficult about these Virgo lessons, like coming through this eclipse cycle, that desire to find perfection is how we see ourselves, right? Like, ultimately, that's effectively like what that sense of perfection should be. It's working in the context of being able to recognize and identify what it is that we aspire and desire for, right? And so I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this work that we're identifying that has to do with not, and here's the thing, when we get overly focused on flaws, we forget that that those things that we find are flaws are what make us ourselves, right? That the ideal form of the self exists in the space of identifying that you are effectively energetically unique, right? And often when we have that feeling of the crushing weight of another's expectations on us, it becomes too easy to look at ourselves as someone that is inherently flawed. But that's why when we come into that space of returning love back to ourselves, giving that force of love to ourselves, we don't see flaws there. We identify those flaws as facets, right? We don't have to exist in the space of being perfect, but we exist in the space of trying to be a perfect version of ourselves, right? And in those moments, it's in that space that we start to love ourselves. It's in that space that we start to embrace those aspects or those qualities that make us unique. This is what I talk about right now with, like, the solution to some of this energetic feeling is to allow the force of love to bring compassion to those spaces, right? It doesn't require perfection. It's understanding that the need or the desire to better oneself is the energetic gift, because it is something that is always out of grasp, but something that we always reach for. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy across all of the frequencies right now, being able to work through that, right? Working through, and I keep on seeing the judgment that one feels towards the self, or the judgment that you feel that others place upon the self. This is how we heal, because we lead forth with empathy. We lead forth with compassion. Now, for a lot of the energy right now in separation, working through those experiences, I keep on hearing the energy that's in separation is moving forward in that point of vitality by identifying and feeling the gift of clear directions. That's why these partnerships that are forming during these eclipse cycles right now, they feel like they're powerhouse energy, because this is the energy that looks to the self and says that that point of recognizing and identifying and feeling that viability, being able to work through that, being able to have those breakthroughs. This is the energy that builds into that sense of saying to oneself, as long as we have the same directions, there's nothing that we can't do, because it's allowing for that expansion point. While for I see at the same time, I see a lot of closing out of some energetic cycles right now in separation, feeling the viability or the frustration of situations where it's dwelling too much in the space of feelings, but lacking a clear sense of direction. Continuing to get clarification between our Page of Swords in combination with the Devil card in its upright. Can I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with that Knight of Cups energy. So a lot of this work that we're seeing at this time, it's this is the thing about it, especially with the Knight of Cups in its reversal. Um, we have to talk a little bit about this right now, because especially for Virgo and Aries, um, Virgo and Aries look at feelings so much in the space that they say feelings have nothing to do with it. But the reason that Virgo and Aries often say feelings have nothing to do with it is specifically because for the energy in those modalities, um, Aries often channel emotions through activation, right? Aries like to put the emotions somewhere that they can see them. That's why there's a lot of physicality that we often identify with those with Aries placements. Virgo energy often likes to be in a space of like holding the holding the emotions sacred in what like in what moves them towards their higher self, right? So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this, I keep on seeing there's a lot of this release process that's occurring right now as it relates to working through the emotions that feel like they create like the emotions that feel like they create like weight, that don't feel like they provide direction, right? There's a lot of that space here. And so I keep on seeing that a lot of that, like a lot of that chariot energy to a certain extent, um, like it's almost like working in that space of not having a lot of patience for anything that feels like it's not moving in a progressive fashion. So for everything that we're seeing here, like that's why we keep on saying it's really important at this time to try to bring a little bit more empathy to situations, because that clarification point I keep on seeing, this is the energy that says to a certain extent it's not so much about just having the feelings, but being able to move those feelings into a place that provides direction. Continuing to get clarification here between our Devil card in combination with our Four of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Ten of Swords in its reversal. Now, this is really intriguing. Make sure that you take a minute to head over to our Substack to view the photo of today's spread, because what we basically have that's occurring here is we've got the combination force right now of the Ten of Cups with the Ten of Swords in its reversal. And what's really beautiful about that combination force of energy is, and this is what we talked about right now. I want you to see this, right? This is the effective energetic vibe that we're currently experiencing. Because look, what is the Venus in retrograde cycle say? The Venus in retrograde cycle says everything is not perfect. Like is everything is ugly. Everything is ugly. Everything is hideous, right? And then we've got the Virgo energy that says everything must be perfect. Everything must be perfect. What do we do to navigate between those points? We recognize that we're doing the best that we can. We embrace the flaws so that they become facets. We work through the context of finding the courage and confidence to be the self, right? Because when we're able to lead forth in that way, it allows for that process of expansion, but it can also be very frustrating in the process, right? It's working in that space of identifying what feels like it's energetically restorative rather than perseverating or creating. And this is what often happens in unhealthy connections, right? This is energy and separation that's moving in the direction of healing from situations that were articulating that there could not be any movement until something was perfect. Remembering and recalling that perfect is not a location, it's a cardinal direction. It's always away from us. We're never achieving it. Versus those spaces of working through the context of feeling like one is like everything is awful, right? So this is a lot of that work right now. I keep on seeing the breakthrough is understanding that when I keep on seeing the energetic connections that are forming at this time, I keep on hearing them say, we do the best we can with what we have. We do the best we can with what we have, right? We don't wait for the perfect situation to arrive. We create perfection by identifying what it is that we can achieve, right? Continuing to get clarification here between our Four of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. We have here our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. So a lot of this weight, a lot of this pressure right now, and I need to describe this, that feeling, I keep on seeing, like, I keep on hearing, like, the pressure or force, um that what's really beautiful about this, and I just want to explain what I'm seeing here to a certain extent, is we're under the false premise that by putting pressure upon something, we create something that is perfect. But what's actually beautiful about that is when we put pressure on something, but then we also bring love towards it, right? It's a combination force of understanding that space of love that we give to each other. And often that this is what we talk about here, that often when we care about something, we work not to put too much pressure on it, right? Because it is the difference between feeling the full force of love but then finding gentleness within it. And I keep on seeing that there's a lot of energy and separation that is articulating upon situations or experiences wherein they are defining and articulating the fact that they work very hard to calibrate themselves so that I keep on hearing there's some energy and separation that is healing from situations or scenarios wherein someone cared about them too much, but their love did not feel like love, right? Like that space or that force of saying to another, looking back on something and saying, no, I can see the fact that it wasn't due to a lack of caring. But often, if one cares too much but hasn't done the work of the self, then that love that you want to give to another doesn't come through as a sense of love, right? And that's why I keep on seeing that's the energy that was feeling the mutual force of saying to one, it's not about trying to be perfect, right? It's not about trying to bring someone into a space of being perfect. It's not about the space of overly being too hard on the self because one doesn't feel like you're arriving at the place that one expects to be. It's doing the best that one can in the circumstances, right? And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy here, being able to work through that context, this is what's allowing for that space of, I keep on seeing viability because this is the energy that articulates themselves to a certain extent that they're finding that space to be able to communicate so like in a way of saying that the gift that they're giving each other is clarity, right? And that clarity Like that same clarity we're identifying is coming towards the energy coming into divine union, because this is the energy that I keep on seeing is recognizing something about the self that they couldn't see before, that is allowing for that context of a breakthrough. And that's why I keep on hearing the energy that on like one side is like patting themselves on the shoulder because they've had a breakthrough, but then looking and seeing all the work that they have to do, right? Well, for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy working through that space, there's something there's something really important to articulate upon. So much so that I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy in that space, having that breakthrough, being able to talk through something in a way that you couldn't before, that is what is allowing for a lot of this expansion. But it's frustrating. It's hard because there's a lot of those changes that one is feeling within oneself that is helping another define and articulate upon what that is going forward. Continuing to get clarification here between our Knight of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Ten of Swords in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? We've got here the Magician in its reversal. So the thing about this energy right now is um, it feels very rough, right? It feels, I keep on seeing, it feels very much like it's working through waves of frustration. It's working through a lot of those spaces of identifying what one is still trying to navigate or what one is trying to articulate upon. So, one of the things I keep on seeing that's going to kind of help with this is make sure, like, I need to say this across all of the frequencies right now, make sure that how you are expressing or what it is that you're trying to say isn't allowing yourself to be triggered. It's not coming into a space of being energetically volatile. Because the thing is, with all of this Aries energy, there's a lot of this feeling of pressure. There's a lot of this weight that we're experiencing. And so when we're talking in the realm of emotions, it's always really valuable and important to be able to articulate upon and bring our own prescriptions to things, right? Remembering that the emotionality that we feel is always a gift, so long as we articulate to another why it is that we feel the way that we do. Continuing to get clarification here between our Ten of Swords in its reversal, in combination with our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Ten of Pentacles in its upright. Now, one of the things I keep on seeing here, there's a lot of work that's being done in the space of nuance, right? And I got to tell you, this is the thing about this energy right now. It's working in the context of recognizing and identifying what does and does not feel ideal. Now, here's the thing about it, and I need to kind of sit like we just need to kind of look at this. It's not the fact, right? And this, I know how hard this is right now, given the fact that with the dual force of this weight, right? That feeling, we've got the sensation of the desire for perfection. We've got the frustration that we feel that everything feels the opposite of perfect right now, right? This is where we allow our compassion to guide us, right? This is allowed, like, it's almost like saying to me, being able to expound upon and express the dream, right? Being able to find that space of being able to articulate upon what that dream is. This is what allows for that expansion point to grow, but it needs to be, it comes in a space of being energetically fortifying. Now, for a lot of the energy and separation, I keep on seeing that ability of doing so, being able to find those directions, being able to set that intention in the space of identifying what that looks like. These are the new energetic connections that I see that are forming at this time, because this feels like it's building into the context of what that map looks like, right? It's working in the space of those plans. It's being able to articulate and describe that. While for a lot of the energy that is coming into divine union right now, this is a lot of that work that I keep on seeing. Like that's that dual word. Like that is that moment of both. I keep on hearing exhalation and frustration in feeling that force of identifying how far you have come versus how much further you still have to go. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union, I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this work that is being navigated right now, particularly in the realm of, how do I describe this best? Um, like this is a lot of that Scorpio energy that's coming through that feels like the architecture for personal transformation, for personal growth, for identifying what the shape of that is. And I keep on seeing that that ability to describe and identify how one feels is allowing for its own expansion point. Final card for today's spread, between our Magician card in its reversal and our 10 of Pentacles in its upright, we've got here our 9 of Swords in its reversal. So this is exactly what we mean as we're talking about allowing for that space of compassion coming through, right? There's something really beautiful and profound to be occurring here. And I know, like, listen, I know that this energy right now, it feels very harsh. It feels very intense. It feels very raw. But that's why when we're able to kind of bring in that space of compassion, we're able to bring in that space of like empathy. I keep on seeing like taking some of that emotionality that we experienced from Pisces, all of that work that we found in Pisces, and being able to kind of bring that compassion forward. There's something here that we're seeing that is allowing for a deep degree of healing. But, and I got to say, this is most intense for the energy in separation right now. It feels bittersweet, right? It feels like a lot of that space, because I keep on hearing that for energy and separation, it is identifying what feels like it has the ability to change versus what one is accepting around a circumstance or situation, right? And I keep on hearing that for a lot of this energy in separation, the ability to identify like where that works begins, like being able to work in that space of recognizing and feeling that. That's why these partnerships that are coming together at this time, they feel like powerhouse energy. They feel like that energy that says like what we do together, like, you know, we can accomplish anything so long as we stay very focused on those goals, so long as we stay very focused on what that path work looks like, right? Because, and this is the energy I'm seeing in separation that is healing from situations or circumstances where someone was showing an inability to move forward because there was a lack of perfection, or because someone was being too hard on themselves in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, something that I'm identifying here that feels like it's transformational has to do with that space of identifying how far one has come, right? And there's a little bit of that space. I can see like this is the energy right now that's in divine union, that's working through that dual calibration of holding space in relationality to how far one has come versus how far one still has to go. Right? Often when we reach a point of understanding of the self, we then identify what that work is that we're leading ahead of ourselves at this time. So everything that I'm seeing to a certain extent here, it feels like a lot of energy that's in that space where they're setting new standards for themselves. They're holding themselves to a higher like point of appreciation. And that brings us to a lot of the energy right now that is deep within divine union. Because I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, having those breakthroughs right now, working in that space, holding compassion for the self in the process, this is what is allowing a lot of that expansion to occur, because it's remembering, and again, this is the message that we're going to keep on saying during this retrograde cycle, perfect is an ideal. It's something that we reach for, that we move in accordance to, but we don't allow ourselves to be blocked or defined by it. Because often when we work into the space of fearing becoming too perfect, we're not able to achieve the things that we desire, right? So having that ability of identifying and adapting This is what's allowing for that growth process. But there's a lot of healing that is happening right now, particularly for the energy in separate, in deep within divine union, as it relates to not feeling the weight of expectations, but almost healing the weight of expectation by having compassion for the self and for those around the self. Bottom of the deck on today's reading, we have here our justice card in its reversal, which is very timely considering we will be doing the class on the justice card tomorrow. So a lot of this work that we're doing and navigating right now, I keep on telling you, it's having to feel the weight, right? The crushing weight that we often experience as it relates to the feeling of trying to navigate perfection, right? Perfection of the self, the feeling of perfection of trying to meet the expectations of those around us. But when we inquire upon, when we invest upon what that feeling of perfect is, right? We recognize that effectively that feeling of perfection is moving in accordance with trying to find balance within the self, right? It's working into that ideal of the self. So being able to recognize and identify that, to be able to, I want to kind of say, if you're feeling that right now, I would like you to get into the practice of like writing out or identifying what you feel like that space of perfection is, right? Because the ability to introspect upon it, the ability to work through the facet of how one feels, it's going to help right now. Because I keep on hearing that this is a good time to heal, like to heal from the aspiration of perfection, because it's in that moment that we look towards perfection, not in a space of feeling judged by ourselves or those around us, but holding empathy and working in the context of trying to find our highest version of self, that we find that there's a lot of that healing and that sense of restoration in terms of what it is that we're trying to build and achieve. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my website. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Wheel of Fortune. Our next class will be held tomorrow at 8 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Justice card. If you would like to become a part of our tarot class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access to, as a monthly subscriber, over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Archive. Now, it's not necessary to be able to catch up for each class. I will do my best to give you a recap on everything that we've studied thus far, but the material is there for you to receive when you are ready to receive it. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied or are learning thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Archive. You will also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your impact going forward towards your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us on that journey. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about our in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also be notified as well to any new classes or programs I offer. Speaking of which, I'm happy to let you know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or biweekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or biweekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I also want to thank you guys and offer, and let you know that I'm also offering dream interpretation readings. These can be purchased on an individual level or as a series. I do ask that if you purchase the series that you make sure to keep a dream journal, as we will be utilizing the tarot to understand the key messages and themes that are coming towards you in the dream space via use of the tarot. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. And we will do this again tomorrow. That is our daily collective read. Thank you guys so much for being here and receiving it. Congratulations. Whoops, as I knock everything over. Congratulations to Ruby. You got our highest gifter today. And thank you so much, Shaya. You got second, so you will be you'll also be on the list. If anyone wants to get on the list right now, you will be the fourth person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers, being semi-lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in a private reading, and you can book a private reading on my site. I am also going to be taking a photo of today's spread. If you would like to see today's reading, you can find it as well. It will be over on the Substack when we post it today. Just bear with me a moment. Perfect. And I would deeply encourage you to take a look at today's spread because it's very, very beautiful. All right, let's take a minute and read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Hi there, local. All right, and thank you so much. I couldn't put it into words, but the energy around me right now. Thank you for confirmation. How are you doing today, Hardy P? Thank you, Ryan. Angela, thank you so much for the follow. Wishing you a restful Tuesday as well, Lynn. Hold on a minute as well. And good having you. Hope you have a grand rising today, Lay. You're so welcome, Danny. Hi there, Lisa. I'm glad to see you here as well. And welcome, Sunshine. Thank you, Alinda, for the crowns. Dueling banjos is insane. Thank you, Ryan, for confirmation on this reading. Perfection is derived from the Latin of completion. Perfection doesn't exist, for matter isn't infinite. Exactly, Everin. But that's the thing about it. Like this type of energy right now, it is an over concentration on perfect. It's just that space. We want to be really hard on ourselves right now. You know, and being able to not overly internalize that is going to be key. I got you on the list right now, Nova. Looking forward to it. You're also going to have an additional card in your reading. Thank you for being the first one on the list today. When is the class on the judgment card? I would love to join. Catherine, that class is occurring tomorrow. It's going to be at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you'd like to join, you still have ample time to join. And all you need to do is head over to my Substack. Your subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into that class. Hi there, Booby. Thank you as well, Shaya. Yes, that would the wound behind the wound. Thank you for confirmation, Elisa. And thank you, user 292, for the hearts. So on point. You're so welcome, Lay. This is incredibly aligned with me right now. I'm so glad that these messages help you right now, Lisa. Hi there, Miss Melissa. It is beautiful alchemy. But the thing about it, like the thing, I mean, here's the thing with it right now. It's a little bit like it's clumsy, you know? Like the Mercury retrograde energy in combination with the Venus retrograde, it's feeling the clumsiness of the self. It's working in that context. It's feeling the weight of that. And that's why we keep on saying that, like, a lot of the work we have to do right now is allowing that compassion to guide us forward to a certain extent. Thank you, Elisa. And paintings, thank you for the follow. Danny, thank you for sharing the live. And Hippie Farmer, thank you for the follow. Root chakra work, eternal. Thank you, Tink. Lilith is in Scorpio, right? Is that the Scorpio energy? I believe someone, I have to double check. Is the moon in Scorpio right now? I believe someone brought that up, in which case that would make a lot of sense. Hi there. That resonates. I mean, I think, Deborah, you're talking about your the wounds that were created that create a unique me, unique purpose. I mean, here's the thing, like those wounds identify us, right? Those experiences that we have, they create those spaces of uniqueness. So that's why I keep on seeing right now, Deborah, for a lot of the work of navigating this, it's talking towards a lot of like integration of trauma. It's requiring the understanding of, I keep on seeing, looking at something objectively. Hi there, B. Aries here, on point. Catherine, healing after the fact because I become through new perspectives of my needs of safety. Beautifully said. Tap to claim. And Liz, thank you for the follow. Deborah, thank you. You helped me find my answers within. You always shining light. I do my best, Deborah. Thank you for being here and receiving these messages. The moon's in Scorpio. Thank you for confirmation, Miss Melissa. Maybe providing for myself and having standards and coming into divine union connection. Tap to claim, Catherine. Here too, all over my chart. We got a lot of Aries energy. It's very snappy. Thank you, Erica. Rich Rising. And B, thank you for sharing the live. Grand Rising Queen. You're so welcome, Kevin, and thank you for the follow. You're so welcome, Elisa. And Claire, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Miles, thank you for the follow. Unbridled. So go ahead and pull that trigger, or is the Aries energies influence? Unbridled, the thing that we talk a lot about with these eclipse cycles is if there's something that you've had a lot of intention on, now's a good time to do it. But if there's something that you're just coming upon to do, you might want to give it a moment because a lot of this, like a lot of this intentionality, I like to describe it, it's good incubation energy. It's coming through in a space of identifying and recognizing an idea and helping it build into a shape, not being energetically triggered, as it were. Miles, so do you specialize in the union between divine masculine and feminine within relationships? It's something that I really focus a lot of the work that I do here with Miles. I try to really, one of the things I try to do when I'm reading across the frequencies is trying to give a clear perspective of the difference in that journey between masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind that's not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. And one of the things that we're even seeing here is the fact that for a lot of the energy right now, both masculine and feminine are doing a lot of the same work in terms of healing the heart chakra. But we're seeing even now that a lot of that work for masculine is the feeling or the need to want to open up, right? While for feminine, it's more of that space of like almost calling back their energy, if you will, or being more like more in a space of selectivity, right? Both of those energies are doing the same work, but sometimes it brings out different qualities and characteristics in the counterparts. So that's what we do here. I talk a lot about both the energy that's coming, that's in separation, coming into divine union and deep within divine union, and how the energetic forces are affecting both masculine and feminine in kind. I can absolutely save your reading for tomorrow, Nova. No problem at all. And in between and it's in between eclipses, one and lunar and one solar, 14 days in between. It's crunchy energy right now, Kia. You know, it's rough. It's rough stuff, right? And that's why it's really important to like maintain a point of compassion and perspective during this time. I've been feeling very ineffective at being present and doing little things. Well, take it one step at a time right now, Eric. Build that list for yourself and just be methodical. Hi there, Thomas. Welcome, Virgo energy. Alyssa, I never thought about the flaws are only because of an idea. I never thought the flaws are only because of an ideal. Well, that's the thing. Like when we hold flaws in ourselves, we have to ask ourselves, what are we comparing ourselves to? Right? Like it begs the question to a certain extent. I do my best. Thank you. I love your interpretations. Thank you. I appreciate you, Elisa. Thank you for being here and receiving them. Juniper, thank you for the follow. These are great. I learned so much. Thank you, JD, for being here and also receiving these messages. Leonora, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the compliment. And Mig, thank you for those roses. Autumn, I really needed to hear this today. Gratitude to you as well, Autumn. And thank you, Shaya. What a positive way to end. Here's the thing. I know it's heavy energy right now, but it's expansive. It's progressive. There's positivity here. There's breakthrough, but it's operating under the catalyst of working through the rough patches, right? And David, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Hi there, Haley. Love to you as well. And thank you, Alicia. Haley, looks like I missed out on the reading, but I'll stay and listen to any messages that come after. Absolutely. And thank you for those gifts, Ryder. Blessings to you as well, Shea. You're so welcome, Catherine. I'm happy to read for you on that, Hardy. If you'd like to get on the list, list is open. You're so welcome, B. I think my understanding of perfection was once grounded in the opinion or definitions of others. But here's the thing, if you're recognizing that, you're healing from it. Now I feel that I've done enough to work to on myself in confidence as I move towards perfection. Tap to claim, Lynn. Yes, the Scorpio energy. Thank you for confirmation, Shara. And Tamara, thank you for sharing the live. All right, and Cherry, thank you for the follow. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get started on today's readings. If you would like to get on the list is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers, Binks and Malayo. Please keep in mind there are 2 things they do not read across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book a private reading on my site. The first person we're reading for today is Ruby. Ruby, if you're here, can you respond in all caps and let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? If anybody else would like to get on the list for today, the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more, or for the gift of a baby dragon, 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers. Binks and Malayo, please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read upon these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in a private reading, and you can book a private reading on my site. Hold on a minute, I'm just putting in the offer here. Also, we are doing a giveaway right now. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. All right. Got you, dear. Spirit led. Spirit led for Ruby, please. All right. Can I get, please, 4, and thank you, 4 cards for Ruby, Spirit led. Guys, please thanks Ruby for all of their help as moderator today. 4 cards from Ruby, Spirit led. Highest priority messages from Spirit, please. All right. Oh, you got 5 cards coming up, dear. I'm going to read all of them because that's what we do. Yeah, like it's like, the one message that's coming through right now, Ruby, is don't allow some of this, don't allow some of this like Scorpio energy to get to you to a certain extent. It says to me, there's like a lot of transformation that is currently happening around you right now. Right. And it feels to me like it's kind of requiring you to have to navigate through some kind of feeling or space of uncertainty. right? I'm just identifying something here that it feels really transformative. It feels like there's something about having to be adaptable. Um, I also keep seeing, here's something about, like, there's something about this too that feels like it's really important to navigate. And it says to me it's coming through in relationality to, like, someone trying to come back to you in terms of like reviving something from the past. Um, you know, and this is coming through very strongly right now. Don't don't let another distort your perception of what is happening. Don't let another distort your perception of what it is that you feel or what it is that you see, because there's something really important that I'm identifying here that has to do with it's, here it's like, I got to tell you, it's like the score, like this energy right now between these eclipses, it feels like bottom of the barrel energy, right? It feels like having to like scrape out the bottom of the barrel, if you will. But I also need to articulate that there's something really important about it, because um it's like it's saying to me, it almost feels like some desire of someone that's trying to hash out something to you, and almost articulating and saying to them, like, I don't really see any need to talk about it. Like, I don't really see any need to like continue to like expound upon something if we've already spoken about it, you know? So, like, just be very mindful about that to a certain extent, because they're basically saying like, you know, there's a lot, like, they're saying you can have compassion, but a limitation point. It's requiring that space of being able to articulate upon something, but not feeling the need to repeat oneself. Like, that's what I'm effectively seeing here. It's having to say to another person in some kind of way, shape, or form that um that it's like it almost like it feels to me like someone trying to come towards you to see if you've changed your mind about something. And I can kind of see you saying to another person that if something's important to you, it's not something that feels like it's changeable or adaptable, right? It's like, you don't need to keep on unpacking. Like, you don't need to keep on having like the same conversation. Um, a lot of this, and I feel like they're saying it even now, if it's like the guides are basically saying, what your standards are, right? And if someone's coming into a space where you've articulated your standards and they keep on arriving and articulating the same thing to you, that ability of identifying and saying to oneself, like, this is not something that's changeable. This is just like what it is. Like, don't let yourself be triggered about it. Just let yourself be clear. I do want to give you some bottom of the deck information. So just something to keep in mind going forward. Yeah, it's a lot of this tower energy, you know? Um, don't let someone make a big deal out of something if you know it's not a big deal, you know? Like, there's something really important about that. It feels like the type of energetic connection that, like, likes to keep you on your toes, or tries to create a space in you that you don't feel energetically secure in relationality to what is occurring or what is happening. So that's why I keep on seeing, to a certain extent, like, that ability of recognizing it, not being triggered by it, but just being like more intentional through it. It's almost giving me a space of saying that, like, you know, don't let yourself feel overwhelmed right now, because you know there's something really important that they're saying is happening as it relates to you being on the cusp of a breakthrough. And the thing about it, and I just need to stress this, sometimes the vibration of a breakthrough feels very similar to a breakdown, right? A breakthrough and a breakdown can feel very energetically similar. It just matters in relationality to how we carry it, right? Like what that force that we put to bear to a certain extent. So I just want you to consider that to a certain extent. Make sure that you're being intentional, make sure you're being clear, and don't let yourself get reactive. Don't let yourself get if someone's trying to provoke you in that way, don't match them energetically. I feel like just like almost they're saying like bring it up, say, and I feel like I keep on saying this. It's like I kind of hear you say like I keep on hearing something that says like basically, you know, that your ability to be present for someone does not require you to abandon your standards in the process, right? Like that's what I keep on seeing that's happening right now. And I feel like a lot of that is like I feel like in fact like what they're actually saying to me is you've already transformed in a great amount manner like in a great many ways because something that you would have been like worrying about like or focusing too much upon, you're just kind of easing through, right? I see you just kind of like moving through it to a certain extent and observing it instead of over fixating upon it. Thank you so much, Ruby, for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers, Binks my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read across these apps, pregnancy or medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book a private reading on my site. Next person we're reading for today is Shaya. Shaya, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. If anybody else would like to get on the list for today, you'll be the second person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers, Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book a private reading on my site. How are you doing today, Shaya? Hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day. Just taking a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was giving that reading. And Cherry, thank you for the follow. And thank you, Tamara, for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Ruby, luckily I don't give too much space for the energy from the past to come through. And here's the thing about it, like it's funny because it says to me, it's like, it's like I keep on saying it's like any space you give, it feels like the same thing. Like I just keep on seeing some kind of situation. It's like anytime you allow for something, it just feels like a repetition. And you're just like, it feels like further validation as it relates to the progress of moving away from something. I keep on hearing something that's like, disappointed, not devastated, because you're identifying the fact that it hasn't changed. It's very much the same. All right. And so we're doing a spirit led on love, please, right now for Shaya. Spirit led on love, please, for Shaya. Highest priority messages from Spirit for Shaya, please. 2 cards, please. Thank you for being a subscriber, Shaya. Oh, we've got 3 cards coming out. I'm going to read all of them because that's what we do. Here's the thing, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. You've seen that I was shuffling these cards a lot, and, the Tower energy is coming through. But here's the thing about the Tower energy, and I've been saying this a lot because whenever we start getting into these eclipse cycles, it's not infrequent for us to start seeing the Tower card, right? Because the Tower card talks a lot about that intense amplification of energy, if you will, right? It's that moment where it feels like we're feeling a lot of that weight or we're feeling a lot of that intensity. Um, I'm seeing something that's really important here because I feel like I gotta stress this, like, I almost see you having some kind of breakthrough on the self that's helping you heal love going forward. There's something really, I keep on seeing there's something really intense that I'm identifying here. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with the work that you've been putting upon the self, right? Like this says to me, like you're identifying what some of those blockages were. You're identifying what those limitations were. I also feel like there's something really important to recognize as it relates to, I keep on hearing like, you know, healing in the space of, like, I keep on seeing that there's something that you're doing right now in terms of getting into a better relationship with navigating fear, right? Like I almost see some kind of experience where in the past you were allowing the fear or anxiety of what could occur to get the better of you. But instead, I almost see you just kind of navigating it now in a space of trying to be intentional, trying to be like focused, like working through, like not overly agonizing upon those doubts and fears, but communicating through them. So if you've been doing this work, let this just serve as like further, like a further reminder, like from your guides that they see the fact that you've been putting a lot of that intentional effort towards that, because they're saying that a lot of that confidence that you're finding in yourself, you're able to bring forth in love as it relates to fearlessness and not being afraid to articulate what it is that you desire to create with another. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now, yeah, especially with this Queen of Pentacles energy. That's why I keep on seeing that there's something really valuable and important right now that is occurring, particularly in relationality to navigating some of that tower energy. Because I just keep on seeing that there's something really important and vital and powerful there in terms of, it's not, and I keep on hearing, it's not the fact that the fear in within you has changed, but your own ability to kind of stand and face it, right? Like your own ability to just be present to it, but instead of reacting, like instead of reacting to it but just observing it. They're saying that that is speaking a lot about how far you've come to a certain extent, because they're saying that you're healing love by not allowing your fears to get the better of you. I want to thank you so much for having that reading with me, Shaya. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers. Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book a private reading on my site. The list is now open to 1 card readings for subscribers. If you are a subscriber and would like a card pulled, go ahead and put that question in the comments. I'll be happy to pull a card for you. How are you doing today, Andrea? Hope you're doing well. New subscriber, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. Hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day. All right. And second call right now. Hi there, Kay. Absolutely. Highest priority messages, please, for Kay from Spirit, please. Um, Now's a good time, I keep on seeing, for laying plans, building that groundwork, setting those intentions. There's something really important and valuable that I just see and recognize that you're doing right now. I want you to focus on those goals going forward. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now. Yeah, like don't don't over concentrate on what is going wrong, you know? Focus, be, again, like the message for you over this eclipse cycle is be solutions focused, not problem oriented. All right. And thank you so much, Kay, for being here. And here's the thing, like I feel like there's something about this. Like I said, like they're saying, like let go of the need to be perfect and inhabit the space of appreciating and being yourself, right? Okay. One card for Bridget, please. One card for Bridget. Highest party messages from Spirit, please. Um, I feel like there's something really important and valuable right now, Bridget, in relationality to, you know, working through. I keep on seeing going forward and taking some kind of chance right now. I feel like there's some kind of expansion point that you're working through. And I feel like a lot of this work that you're navigating through this eclipse is feeling the security and confidence in your decisions. Bottom of the deck, yeah, like let that serve as confirmation. I just see you not stressing so much, but just being able to kind of move with more, like I keep on seeing more alacrity through things without feeling that sense or that need to like vacillate between decisions. All right. You're so welcome, Shaya. All right. Bear with me one moment, just catching up. We're also at 25K. When we come through, when we get to 50K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. Thank you, Bridget, for that gift. All right. Well, and I agree, I agree, Cauldron, on that because, sometimes that devil card comes up a lot when we're navigating the space of our fear. And there's something about this eclipse cycle where I told you it's like a lot of those anxieties and fears that are coming up to the surface, but it's allowing for that clarity of thought as it relates to intentionality of purpose. Career for Ruby, please. One card for Ruby on career, please. Especially with this moon card in its reversal, I just keep on seeing that there's something really valuable and important right now in relationality to um, kind of embodying your best version of self and bringing that forward as it relates to moving forward in some career path. I feel like it's interesting because they're saying that a lot of that career work right now is actually very much integrated with coming into the space of your own confidence. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now, especially with this justice card in its reversal, I keep on seeing that there's something really valuable about um, feeling that confidence and security in oneself as it relates to communicating or articulating what it is that you aspire and desire. So make sure that you're coming through in that way. um, like I keep on seeing like presenting yourself in a way that you're helping another recognize or feel that certainty of about what it is that you do and how it is that you can help to a certain extent, right? I keep on hearing being prescriptive instead of inquisitive. Hi there, Kat, right? And thank you as well. It's a beautiful message on growth, absolutely. All right, we've got for Bridget right now. Did I just pull a card for you, Bridget? I'm sorry, I'm just reading back. I want to make sure I'm getting everybody. All right. Spirit led for Bridget. Just Bridget, I feel like this card is for you, even if I pulled for you right now. Like I said, the thing about this energy right now is it's really easy to feel a lot of this like anxiety or working through this right now. I want you to kind of put empathy in play as it relates to not being so hard upon yourself. Bottom of the deck on this reading, exactly. You know, doing the best that you can is enough right now. Don't feel like that space of having to overgive. Remember, like make sure that you're in a space where you're feeling energetically supportive so that you can give even more. All right, spirit led for Crystal, please. Highest party messages, please. I feel like a lot of this 8 of Wands right now. I feel like there's a lot of this work that I keep on seeing a lot of this space in terms of making plans, in terms of communicating, having a lot of that work to do right now. Now would be a good time. I keep on seeing if there's something about making plans right now or building up travel arrangements. Now might be a good time to do so. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, especially with the King of Pentacles in its reversal. Don't let another person's uncertainty get in the way of you making those plans, right? Like if you're giving someone that like space, you can tell them, you can give them a amount of time, but like help them say and identify, say, look, this is what I'd like to do. I'd love it if you participate with me, right? But don't let anyone else hold you up in terms of doing it. Hi there, Lyre. We are doing readings right now. If you would like a reading, all you need to do is send the donation payment via my tree that has Binks in it in my bio, and I'll be happy to pull a card for you. One card for Alexandra on the connection, please. Can I get one card for Alexandra on the connection? Highest priority messages from Spirit, please. It feels like there's a lot of transformation that's occurring. You know, I see someone that's going through a lot of profound transformations right now. Bottom of the deck on the reading, I'm not surprised to see it. Like I see here, like I see someone building into, there's something occurring in another person's life that's giving them a deeper appreciation for um like energetic connections. I just see someone in a space of being appreciative or honoring something in a way that they haven't before. Um, like I just keep on seeing it's like someone's priorities are shifting. You're so welcome, Kay. One card for Ava on how they feel about the situation. Highest priority messages from Spirit, please. Um, yeah, a lot of this work that we're seeing right now, particularly with the Eight of Swords and its reversal, um, I keep on seeing, I feels like someone that's trying to figure out a way to get out of their own way. You know, I don't know if there was some kind of conversation that occurred about what their limitations are, or working through some kind of self-limiting beliefs. I keep on hearing someone's working on their self-limiting beliefs. Bottom of the deck on this reading, you got we got a bunch of cards coming at bottom of the deck. Yeah, like it feels to me like I see something about someone looking back on something and feeling like they didn't show up for another person, right? Like there's a lot of this work that I see as it relates to a piece of like some kind of sense of appreciation, you know? Um, it's interesting though, because I kind of see the fact that it's like someone's recognizing their own tendency of not appreciating things they have, right? All right. Oh, it's okay. I feel like that those cards needed to come to you anyway, Bridget. Juanita, these are our subscriber readings. So if you'd like to become a subscriber, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button and you'll have a card pulled. Thank you, Sim, for becoming a subscriber. One card for, hold on, we read for Ava. And thank you, Purple, for the follow. You're so welcome, Alexandra. One card for Squidia, please. Highest priority messages from Spirit. There's something really important about this Eight of Cups in its reversal, that it's saying to me that there's like, here's the thing, like there's a lot of this work that's happening right now in the space of nostalgia, particularly with Neptune transferring into Aries. Um, Remember, like the past always looks better, right? Like the past is beautiful because like looking at the past is where everything is beautiful and nothing hurts. It requires that space of being able to build in the context of building appreciation for the present. Like let the present, I already know, like let the present be your anchor right now, right? It's not about the fact that it's ideal, but they're saying that the present is the ideal, because the present is where you can change and do things and be adaptable. Uh, yeah, there's absolutely still time. It's not tonight's class, Bridget. It's tomorrow, dear. The class is tomorrow. All right. You're so welcome. And thank you again, Purple, for the follow. Absolutely. One card for Tate, please. Highest priority messages from Spirit, please, for Tate. Got two cards coming out, Tate. They flew out of the deck. Um, just, here's the thing. Don't don't allow yourself to get short-tempered right now. The thing is with like all of this Aries energy, it's like everybody's like operating from a short fuse. So being able to be compassionate, being able to be patient, allowing for that context, like give yourself that sense of compassion and give it also to those around you. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, particularly with this Ace of Cups in its reversal. Remember that everyone's doing the best that they can right now, right? It's not that it's energetically easy. It's just it's requiring it's requiring a lot, and so when we're not coming to that space of feeling something directed towards us, we're able to feel a lot of compassion through things. So just be mindful of that right now, because I see even now, like I can see that some of this energy like wearing upon you. Don't let it build you into a space of getting overly reactive. Thank you. One card on love, please, for Heather. One card, please, for Heather. Woo! You got the transverse I'm sorry, 10 of swords coming through. Um, I mean, I'm not surprised to see some, like, there's something about, I keep on seeing, like, it feels like there's something open-ended from the past that you're trying to get some kind of clarity on. And that's okay. Like, they're actually saying, bottom of the deck, you know, if there's something you feel that is open ended that's making it hard for you to move forward, it's okay to get clarity on it. Remember, we're not responsible for the emotions that we feel for one another, with the exception of clarity, because clarity is always able to be met with direction. So I want you to just focus on that right now, because I just keep on seeing that there's something really important, potentially getting some kind of clarity that allows you to determine the direction that you're headed towards. All right. And thank you so much. Final call right now for one card readings for subscribers. If you are a subscriber and have not had a card pulled and would like a card pulled, go ahead and put your question in the comments. If you would like to become a subscriber, you can just hit my name, hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the screen and hit that subscribe button. Also, if there's anyone who would like a full reading today, the list is open. You will be the next person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of 28 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 22 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in a private reading, and you can book a private reading on my site. All right. Erica, I've got you, dear. You're so welcome, Heather. One card for Erica, please. One card for Erica. A lot of this Wheel of Fortune in its upright, I just keep on seeing that it's just speaking to me about like some kind of situations or scenarios that um, it almost feels like, I feel like there's like, this is like, I feel like there's something really important that's occurring right now in relationality to identifying or having some kind of form of breakthrough. I'm just seeing that there's some kind of situation or circumstance right now that is allowing you to feel like you've come to a completion of a cycle. Um, but it feels beautiful. It feels harmonious. I want to give you a bottom of the deck energy on this. Um, this could have something to do in relationality to connection that you have with another. Just looking at some kind of situation or circumstance and recognizing and identifying like what can change versus what you can expect from another. I almost see that there's something very valuable and important there in relationality to like what you can change versus what another person is able to bring forth to you, right? There's something very heavy about that cycle. Thank you so much, Erica, for being here, and thank you for receiving these messages. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them as well. Final call right now for any of my subscribers who would like a card pulled. All you have to do is put your question in the comments, and I'll be happy to pull a card for you if you haven't had a card pulled yet. Also, a reminder for those joining us today, if you missed the Daily Collective Read, it will be up later today over on the place where we keep the videos. It'll also be up on the place where we keep the photos. It'll also be up as a podcast over on my Spotify at Tarot Church or over on my Substack. Also, just a reminder that our next tarot class will be held tomorrow at 8 a.m. PST, 11 a.m. I keep on doing that. 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Justice card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access to the Tarot Church Library, which has over 9 hours worth of material in it. For those who are our monthly subscribers, founding members have access to the full library. There's still plenty of time to enroll. Our next class will be starting tomorrow, so you have up until about 7 o'clock tomorrow night to be able to enroll. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here and sharing your afternoon with me. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. And the biggest thank you to my moderators. Thank you so much, Kay and Ruby. Deeply appreciate your help today. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. And we will do this again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.